Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another episode of the Think Clinical podcast. This is a continuation of an addition to what we did last week. And today we are going to be talking about which AI diagnostic tools are most accurate for home use. Now, people are beginning to get into their homes and they are beginning to understand that there's a role for these AI devices to play in their homes. But whether or not these are accurate or they can rely on the data that's coming out of these, we don't know. So this is just my insight, and we've been looking at thousands and thousands of user reviews and clinical studies to see how or what you can comfortably rely on to give you accurate information at home, and what you should not be relying on because the accuracy is really low. Now, any device that is used at home, and again, as I can say, or as I always say, should be taking that data with an informed mindset. You need to understand whether or not this information you're getting is accurate and whether you can use it to make a decision or not. Now, let's look at this. When we look at the accuracy landscape, right, the AI diagnostic market is huge. This is a $4.2 billion market and is growing really fast. So users are testing everything, and when we talk about everything, we're talking about from AI-powered blood pressure devices. We're talking about smartphones that claim to be tracking or detecting skin cancer. But the reality is that accuracy is very dramatic. It varies dramatically across some of these platforms that are used. Now, when you look at clinical studies, they define accuracy as for these home devices to mean any device that can achieve at least 80 to 95% accuracy. Now, when you're between that range, as I said, none will give you 100% accuracy, but any device that's willing and that is in the 80 to 95% accuracy range is considered worth it and is considered accurate, while the worst ones hit around 60 or below. So when you start having a device that hit between 60 and 80, you need to start questioning the kind of information it gives you and whether you make a decision on them or not. Now, based on user feedback, these are the ones that have been shown to really impress a lot of users that they can use. The first one are ECG monitors. Now, they go as high as 92% accuracy. So devices like AliveCor KardiaMobile consistently impress users because people are able to accurately catch like atrial fibrillations before they even become an issue, and they're able to get to the hospital and get some intervention done. Now, we have blood glucose AI systems that are constantly able to monitor your glucose level as you go ahead, and these are about 89% accurate. And these are also becoming very popular among people who really use them. And then we have the AI-powered thermometers, which are about 87% accurate. So these are the ones that you can actually rely on based on clinical studies and based on what the definition of accuracy here is, which is between 80 to 95% of the time they tell you the truth. You can rely on the ECG monitors. You can rely on the blood glucose, AI-powered blood glucose monitors, and the AI-powered thermometers for sure. These have been shown to give very consistent, good reports. Now, there are some disappointing performance, and these include the blood pressure app. So we have, I can only imagine how many apps I've seen that tell you that it monitors your blood pressure, and I don't even see how that connection is even made. And these are as low as 45% accurate. And if you are using any of these apps, you need to move away from them because they are not going to give you the results or information that is worth acting on. We have skin cancer detection apps, which again amaze me how you are able to use an app to detect skin cancer. Now, these have an accuracy of about 62%, which is really low. And again, it causes an unnecessary anxiety in people who actually try to use them and think they have skin cancer. Yes, does it push you to get screened? Yes, it does. But some of these, and for people who are really anxious and cannot correctly analyze this information, has a high potential of causing a lot of anxiety. And 67% of users say they still prefer professional dermatology visits. Of course, as you should. And then the mental health AI diagnostics, again, that's another one that has a low accuracy of 58%, which you shouldn't be. And these have wrongly diagnose people of depression, and people have gone on medication or anxiety, and people have gone on medication that they really don't need. And so most users have reported mixed results, with 43% saying it's been helpful, but not of diagnostic quality. So when you're looking at the blood pressure apps that are on your phone and people are, please don't trust them. The accuracy is too low. When you look at skin cancer detection apps, again, you need to be careful because only 62% accurate across board. And when you look at mental health diagnostics app especially, which is about 58%, you need to be very careful when you actually put yourself in the depression anxiety zone, because that's not going to be helpful. Now let's look at some user statistics. And the data reveals very, very interesting patterns. Now, when you look at the learning curve, 76% of users need between 2 to 3 weeks to be able to use the device effectively. 76%. 2 to 3 weeks before they can use it effectively. So that's an important point. Now, when we talk about false positives, the top complaint for 52% of users across devices is the fact that they are getting a lot of false positive with skin cancer, false positive with high blood pressure through a mobile app, which is not really accurate. We have integration issues, and 38% of people struggle with connecting devices to health apps. That is a fact. Now we have cost versus accuracy. So devices over 300 show 23% better accuracy rating. So the price that also speaks to the quality of data that is coming out of these devices. When we look at user error factor, 31% of accuracy issues trace back to improper usage. So people don't use it correctly, and they're getting all these false positives, which is in the 52%, and they think the device is not good. Some devices really give some good information, but others really don't. So user error is also a factor. And then professional validation, only 90% of users really verify the results with healthcare providers, which is what you should be doing. The first thing you do when you see results like that is to go to a healthcare provider and ask questions. These are some facts that are out there. 76% of users need between 22 to 3 weeks to be able to learn how to use it. 52% of people are complaining of false accurate results. 38% of people struggle to integrate their devices with their mobile apps. The device, the more expensive it is, the higher the accuracy level. So any device above $300 actually show 23% better accuracy. 31% of accuracy issues track back to improper usage, and only 90% of users actually verify results, and that number should be 100%. You should verify every result. So based on this feedback, based on all the reviews, based on all the statistics, this is my recommendation. The ECG and the continuous glucose monitors, which are powered by AI, have shown a lot of positive feedback from a user standpoint. You can't rely on this because they have a high accuracy rate according to people who have used them. Now you need to proceed with caution when you're using things like blood pressure apps. You are using apps like diagnostic mental tools. You should be careful when especially when those tools are not backed by any scientific evidence. And you need to avoid any app claiming to diagnose any serious conditions. Please stay away from any of those things. If you tell me that there's a smartphone camera that I can show to my skin, and your app has the capability of telling me whether I have skin cancer or not, stay away from any of those things. Now the best practice is that 78% of satisfied users say combining multiple tools and yields the best results, and this is how you should be approaching these AI powered home devices. These are screening tools. They are not replacements for medical professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember to subscribe, like, and share. This has been another very exciting episode of the Think Clinical podcast. My name is Hamza Asuma, and I will see you in our next episode.